Hello class 6 student, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. I am Monica Bajaj, your science teacher, and today we will discuss about your chapter number 5th, separation of substances. Mixture. Material which contain two or more substances in any proportion are called mixtures. Thus, any mixture contain two or more different kinds of particles. A mixture may be a solid, a liquid or a gas. The various substances present in a mixture are called its components or constituents. For example, in a mixture containing sugar and sand are called constituents of this mixture. Each constituent of a mixture retains its properties. Classification of mixture. All mixture can be divided broadly into two categories: heterogeneous and homogeneous. Heterogeneous mixture. A mixture is heterogeneous when its various components are not uniformly spread throughout the mixture and each part of the mixture show different properties. Components of a heterogeneous mixture can be seen by naked eye or through a magnifying glass. For example, a mixture of sand and iron fillings. Homogeneous mixture. A mixture is homogeneous when its various components are uniformly spread throughout the mixture and each part of the mixture has same properties. Components of a homogeneous mixture cannot be seen by naked eye or through a magnifying glass. For example, a mixture of salt and water is a homogeneous mixture. Pure and impure substances. Pure substances. A single substance of a definite composition is called a pure substance. For example, put iron, pure copper, pure gold, pure oxygen, etc. are pure substances. A pure substance contains particles of only one type. A pure substance has a fixed melting or fixed boiling point. A pure substance has its characteristics, taste, color and odor. Impure substance. A substance in which some other substances are also present in smaller amount is called an impure substance. Impure substances contain certain impurities. Impurities present in any substance may change one or more properties of the substance. Difference between pure substance and mixture. Pure substance. Pure substance consists of particles of only one kind. For example, all elements and compounds are pure substances. The composition of pure substance is the same throughout. Pure substances have a definite melting point, boiling point and density. For example, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius and boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. Next is mixture. Mixture consists of two or more types of particles. For example, sugar solution is a mixture of sugar and water. The composition is not the same throughout. A mixture has no definite physical properties such as boiling point, melting point, density, etc. Need for separation of constituent of mixture. There are various reasons to separate the components of a mixture. To remove undesirable components. When we eat a banana or orange, we peel off its skin. Thus, in this way, we remove undesirable part and separate the eatable part from the uneatable part. Small pieces of stones and undesirable seed grains are removed from rice and dal before cooking. The useless piece of stone and seed grain are thrown away. To remove useless or harmful components. A. Suspended impurities and bacteria are removed from water before drinking because impure water is very harmful for our health. B. Salt is removed from seawater for making it fit for the drinking as seawater is harmful for health. To obtain useful components. Crude oil taken out from the earth is a mixture of various components such as petrol, diesel, petroleum gas, etc. These components are very useful for running vehicles. To obtain pure sample of a substance. Pure substances are needed for a variety of purposes. For example, certain metal used in electronic circuits require a high degree of purity. Pure copper is needed for making electric wires. Method of separation. There are many methods of separating mixtures. depending upon the nature of the desirable and the undesirable constituents. To separate constituents of a mixture, a property of one of the constituent which the other constituent does not have is used. For example, in a mixture of iron filling and sand, iron filling can be separated by using its magnetic property. Sand is non-magnetic in the nature, so a magnet can be used to attract and pull out the iron fillings from the mixture. The sand particles would stay behind. Separating solids from solid. The following methods are used for separating solids from solids. Hand picking. The method of separating mixture of its components by hand is called hand picking. Stones and husks can also be separated from rice by using the method of hand picking. So, we can conclude that the method of hand picking can be used to separate only mixture in which the components are mixed in small components, can be easily picked by hand, have different size, shape or color. Sieving. A sieve is usually a plate with many holes or a gauze with holes of a specific size. The size of the holes of a sieve depends on the size of the particles to be separated from the mixture. This method is used when the mixture has substances of different sizes. A sieve with very fine holes is used to separate undesirable substance from flour, and a sieve with bigger holes is used to separate stone from the sand. Next is winnowing. Winnowing can be used when a mixture of small light particles and heavy particles are to be separated. In this method, the light particles can be blown off by air, while the heavy particles will be left behind. This method is widely used by the farmers to separate husk from grain. The husk is blown away by the wind. When the mixture of the husk and grain is released from a height, the husk form a heap at a distance away from the heap of a grain. You will observe this process of winnowing at 4 mill, atta chakki. The process of winnowing is only applicable when the weight of one particle of substance is very less than the particle of the other substance. If both are quite heavy or almost same weight, we can use another method. Threshing. The process of separating grains from the stalks is called threshing. The threshing can be done in the following 3 ways. First, by beating the stalks with sticks on the ground. Second, by allowing animals like bullocks to trample the stalks. Third, by using machines. Machines are generally used in large fields. Separating insoluble solids from liquids. The following methods are used for separating insoluble solids from liquid. First is sedimentation and decantation. This method is applicable when the components of a mixture have different densities. Solids which are insoluble and are heavier can be separated by sedimentation followed by decantation. Sedimentation. Sedimentation is the process in which heavier particles of an insoluble solid is in liquid settle down. See this picture. If a mixture of sand and water is allowed to stand undisturbed for some time, the sand, solid, will settle down as sediment. The water, liquid, forms a clear layer at the top. This layer can be removed without disturbing the sand at the bottom by a process called decantation. Decantation. Decantation is a removal of clear layer of the liquid without disturbing the settled solids. Next is loading. During sedimentation, the heavier coarse particles settle down quickly. Fine particles of clay settle down very slowly. The finer particles can be made to settle faster by dissolving a small quantity of alum in muddy water. This method is called loading. When alum is added to muddy water, the finer particles get loaded with alum particles and form larger aggregates. This makes them to settle down faster. Next process is filtration. The process by which two substances, an insoluble solids and a liquid, are separated by passing the mixture through a filtering device is called filtration. We show you the process of filtration. Filtration is commonly used in our homes. For example, after preparing tea, we filter out the tea leaves using a strainer. Filtration is also done to remove pulp from fresh fruit juice. Water may also contain solid impurities, which can be removed by filtration. During filtration, the insoluble solid is retained in the filtering device, whereas the liquid passes through it. It is important that the particles of the insoluble solids are bigger than the holes in the filtering device for them to be retained in it. A filter paper is a filtering device that has very fine pores in it. Next is churning. This method is used for separating lighter particles of a solid suspended in a liquid. See this picture. For example, butter can be obtained by churning curd, obtained from full fat milk. Cream can be obtained from unboiled milk by churning. Churning can be done by hand using a stirrer or by using a mixer, commonly called mixie. Separating a soluble solid from liquid. The following methods are used for separating a soluble solid from liquids. First one is evaporation. Evaporation is a process in which we separate dissolved solid from a liquid. This method is widely used to obtain common salt from seawater. The process of converting liquids into its vapors on heating below the boiling point of liquid is called evaporation. Removal of salt or obtaining salt from filtrate. Transfer the filtrate into a beaker and heat it over a Bunsen burner. In a few minutes, water evaporates, leaving behind the common salt. Method used: evaporation. So, we have used three different methods to separate our mixture of iron fillings, sand and common salt. Let's see an activity. Take a pot of boiling water and add table salt. Stir to make a water salt solution. Continue adding salt until no more salt dissolved in the solution. This is a saturated solution. Now add 1 final teaspoon of salt. The salt that will not dissolve will help the first step in crystallization to begin. The salt resting at the bottom of the pot will provide a base for crystallization. Water as a solvent. Water dissolves many substances. Water can be dissolved many kinds of substances. That is why water is commonly called as a universal solvent. There are, however, many substances which do not dissolve in water. The substances which dissolve in water are called soluble in water. Those which do not dissolve in water are called insoluble in water. First, a liquid substance that dissolves in water completely in all proportions is called miscible with water. For example, alcohol is miscible with water. A liquid substance that does not dissolve in water and forms a separate layer is called immiscible with water. For example, oils are immiscible with water. Solution and solubility. A solution is a homogeneous mixture of a solvent and a solute. The solvent is the substance present in greater amount. The solute is the substance present in lesser amount. If both components in a solution are 50%, the term solute can be assigned to either component. When gas or solids materials dissolve in a liquid, the gas or solid material is called the solute. When two liquids dissolve in each other, the major component is called the solvent and the minor component is called the solute. Many chemical reactions carried out in solution and solutions are also closely related to our everyday lives. The air we breathe, the liquids we drink and the fluids in our body are all solutions. Distillation. The process in which evaporation and condensation go on side by side is called distillation. Condensation is the process of converting gas or vapor into liquid. Condensation is opposite of evaporation. Condensation takes place only when the water vapor hits a cold surface. Distillation is used to first separate two miscible liquid having different boiling points or vapor pressure. Next, purify a liquid by removing solid impurities. In the process of distillation, a solution is heated till the liquid starts evaporating. This vapor condenses to get back the pure liquid. The water obtained after distillation from a solution is called distilled water. Distilled water is used in car batteries and laboratories. Let's see an activity. Aim: to prepare distilled water in the laboratory. Materials required: a flask, a test tube, a beaker, a U-tube, a stand, tap water, some ice cubes and a Bunsen burner. Procedure: take a flask fitted with a cork and a U-tube. Pour tap water in the flask till it is half full. Take some cold water in the beaker and place the test tube in it. Set up the apparatus in such a way that the flask is kept on a stand and the free end of the U-tube is inside the test tube. Heat the flask using the Bunsen burner till the water starts boiling. The steam formed passes through the U-tube into the test tube that is kept in the cold water. Since the test tube is cold, the steam condenses to form water. Observation: the water formed in the test tube is distilled water. Conclusion: distillation is used to separate impurities from the water. Separation by using more than one method. Many times, separation of the constituents of a mixture require more than one method of separation. Let us understand this with the following example. First, to separate a mixture of iron filling, sand and common salt. Now we will use different method to separate the constituent of the mixture. First, removal of iron fillings. Spread the mixture on a paper and roll a powerful horseshoe magnet in it. Scrape off the iron filling from the magnet in a china dish. Repeat the procedure until no iron filling are left in the mixture. Method use: magnetic separation. Second one is removal of sand. Dissolve the mixture in water. The salt dissolves in it, but the sand does not filter the mixture. The sand is left on the filter paper. The clear common salt solution is collected as a filtrate. Method use: filtration. Solubility. The maximum amount of substance dissolved in a given volume of solvent is called its solubility. Often the solubility in water is expressed in gram or 100 milligram. A solution that has reached the maximum solubility is called a saturated solution. It means you can no longer add solute to the solution. Solutes can be separated from a saturated solution by the method of crystallization. Crystallization refers to a separation of solid-solute crystals from a homogeneous solution. This phenomenon is used for commercial manufacture of salt. Let's quick revise by Reader's Digest. Materials which contain two or more substances in any proportion are called mixtures. Mixtures are of two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. The removal of components of a mixture is called separation. Solid mixtures can be separated by hand picking, sieving, sublimation, winnowing, threshing and magnetic separation. Insoluble solid. Solid mixtures can be separated by sedimentation and decantation, loading and filtration. Solubility of most substances increase with increase in temperature. Okay class, we have done our chapter. It's time to take your leave. Thank you.